Good evening and welcome to the second Beyond the Front Page for the fall 2025 season here at Cayuga Community College. This is a show that's shown on Spectrum, Verizon Fios, as well as ARMA, the Auburn Regional Media Access, and of course the college's radio station, WIN 89.1. And I'm your host, Guy Cosentino. We are delighted to have in the studio today the director of the Cayuga County Office for the Aging, Brenda Wiemann, that serves all of Cayuga County. Over the next half hour, we plan to discuss a number of things, including trends in senior citizens. They had a senior resource fair last week, which we couldn't be in the studio quick enough to give them some advanced publicity for. Medicare's annual enrollment is coming up, and we're also going to talk about GoGo transportation for a county that is long and narrow. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Guy.
It's nice to have you here and talk about your office, but so for those who may not know, and we haven't done a show on this in a long time, mostly with your predecessor, Nelson Stellover. That's how long ago.
Sure.
What is the Cayuga County Office for the Aging?
So we serve everybody 60 and over and caregivers, and with the goal that we're helping people age successfully in the environment where they'd like to age, healthy with little support and services as needs increase. And that's our goal. Education, assistance, some direct services, variety of things.
So what is the main group of services that you say if someone's going to call your office? I know they'll come to you with the odd question, but what are the majority of services that you're asked to provide for?
Yeah, so we serve, one of our most known programs is our Meals on Wheels program. We serve about 500 people a year in that program. About 65,000 meals go out across the county. And so people often think of us that first, and sometimes we will then find out other things people need as a result of them starting on meals. Our health insurance program serves close to 1,000 people a year because we do Medicare insurance counseling. Just our information and assistance, our phone rings constantly. A lot of those calls can be assisted right there. That's over 1,000 people just for that piece of it. Our caregiver program, our aid program.
In many cases.
I'm sorry?
Information referral to other services as well?
Or within our own internal. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, by the way, how large a staff do you have?
We have 19 staff. 7 of those are part-time with our nutrition program. I'm sorry, 6 of those are part-time with our nutrition program. And then the others are full-time, and we have 2 full-time nutrition folks, and then the rest are in the other variety of programs that we have.
And you're located where?
We are at the Boyle Center. We have staff upstairs and downstairs. When the RSVP program closed, we were able to move the remainder of our staff that were still in the county office building over to the Boyle Center. So we're all in one location.
And you're right, the entrance is right off Genesee Street. You go in the front doors for that.
Yes.
Going back to Meals on Wheels for a second, because nutrition is, as I understand it, as people age, their taste buds spare, so that's why we get a lot more salt and other things that we want things to taste different. How of the program, first of all, of the 65,000 meals that you give out, are they throughout the county? Because I know there was one program that was going through some cuts maybe 15 years ago. Where does the Meals on Wheels cover for you?
So our office covers Meals on Wheels for the entire city of Auburn and the entire county. So we serve meals as far south as the Tompkins County border and all the way up to Lake Ontario. And
do you still rely on volunteer drivers?
Yes, so we have between 80 and 90 volunteers that deliver every one of those meals.
And that's rain, shine, like the post office.
It really is, unless the schools close or the roads are closed. Our program is delivering.
And where are the meals prepared?
So we have to put those out to bid periodically, and a current provider of that is Trio, which is based out of Rochester, and they provide Monroe County's Meals on Wheels, and they bring out meals to our location. Prisons.
So they're not necessarily hot meals, are they?
Oh, they do come hot.
Oh, they
and they're
do.
served
Okay.
hot. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a few areas where it's not really possible to get hot meals out, but for the most part, the greatest majority of meals go out hot, delivered every single day.
And are you always looking for drivers?
We're always looking for drivers, especially in the north and the south. In the south right now, Lock Moravia area, we desperately need drivers.
Okay, so let's talk about Lock and Moravia. What happens if you don't have a driver?
Sometimes the person who's cooking, the staff member may drive, our volunteer coordinator may drive, we may double up meals so that they
And this is 5 days a week?
5 days a week, yes. Yeah. So we do whatever we need to do, basically, to make sure people get those meals.
If you don't mind, a couple of questions about you. How long have you been executive director?
Okay. I've been director, it'll be 10 years in May.
And were you with the agency before that?
I was. I've been there 20 years, so I've worn a variety of different hats.
And what did you do before you were executive director there?
I had in the past in Wayne County been the ISIP director, coordinator.
What's that?
ISIP is our expanded in-home services for the elderly program. So I did that. That's case management aid service in the home, typically. So we have a couple caseworkers that have a caseload and are able to do more intensive kind of care with individuals. And then I also we had a long-term care insurance program, worked with that for a while, and then moved into the high-cap Medicare health insurance counseling program.
Are you
So those
originally
are
from Cayuga County?
Wayne County,
You grew up there, and where'd you go to school?
in Newark.
Newark, okay. So a little bit of, as you're coming in here, this is also the 50th anniversary
Right.
of the Office for the Aged. So how was it founded?
So the Office for the Aging came about from the 1965 Older Americans Act, and every state
Is it a
implemented it a little
federal-
different. That's
a
a federal
federal, okay.
regulation, federal law. And every state implemented it a little differently. New York State decided to have Office for the Aging in every county.
So all 62 have one, okay.
Correct.
Are you funded by the state? Does Cayuga County, do Cayuga County taxpayers fund you? How are you funded
Really
with
good
that
question. So our budget is about a little over $2 million, and it's about $2.3 million, and we get about $1.9 million of that comes from various sources, 58% through New York State. They are a very big supporter of aging services. We get about 12% from the federal government. Cayuga County puts in about 20%, and then we have 10% that's miscellaneous. But I want to make sure I mention that 100,000 of that is from donations from individuals,
Okay.
in amounts of $25, $50, $100 that adds up. And
And
over
how
the
do they
course of the
donate?
year, people basically mail in checks typically.
Is it because they've received a service, they like the program, they may have been a beneficiary of Meals on
Yeah,
Wheels?
all that,
Okay.
in memory of folks, in celebration of, a special day, a special anniversary. Some of the churches and youth groups and community groups will support us. Many of the towns and villages do. So it's a combination, but it makes a big difference. That 100,000 gets rolled in so that we can provide more services.
So as we tape this, we're about 38 hours into a government shutdown at the federal level. So this is going to be a multi kind of part question.
Yeah.
Are you being affected at this point by anything with the government shutdown for your office?
Not yet.
So the second part of that is there's a big, beautiful bill. That is not my term. That is the
Sure,
the
sure.
administration's term.
Sure.
We know there's a story in the Citizen of a couple of hours ago about the Sheriff's Department and some Homeland Security money they've lost. Is there a thought that you are all going to see cuts from the state? Forget this county for right now. Whereabouts? What are your? I'm assuming you have an association of offices for the agency. What are they all telling you other than hold on?
Yeah, so the most part for right now, our funding is expected to be okay through December. Our biggest concern, and because I've been through this before, we're just heading into our Medicare annual enrollment period. We depend on Medicare.gov. If there aren't people who are able to update Medicare.gov.
So that's going to start coming on October 15th.
Right,
So we're
right.
13 days away.
Yes.
And there is an expectation by some that
Yes.
this shutdown will go beyond that.
Right.
And so that could impact the type of work that your office does.
Our ability to help people.
And how do you, while we're here, while we're just talking about this, how do you help people with that? You have
Yep.
you have staff that help people enroll?
Right, so we have certified Medicare insurance counselors. They help people go through, there's 26 different Medicare Advantage plans, there's 10 different prescription plans, plus all the Medicare supplement plans. It's pretty complex. Our staff are really well versed. They will help people sort through the options, and then yes, they can help them enroll and go right online through Medicare.gov. So we're totally dependent on Medicare.gov having accurate information and working correctly.
Okay, so, and that impacts people 62 and above?
It's people have to have Medicare, so 65 and older.
65 and over. And then, is this an annual process
It is.
where everybody has to do this 65 and over?
They have the option.
So they can go back into the system
Right.
and tweak things?
Correct.
And how much time does your staff spend? I mean, open enrollment is October 15th. How long does it go for?
October 15th to December 7th, and they are working constantly every day. I've told the legislature that it's like having a virtual line out the door. The phone rings off the hook. They're so busy working with the people that they're working with that they don't have time to get back to the people who've left messages, and it's just a
Because you also
really
have all these federal
challenging-
PSAs on television that are running through the day,
Right.
and somebody watches that, and the first reaction is, oh, I got to make a phone call.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Can we go back to your funding for just a
Sure.
second? So what do you get from the county,
Yep.
funding-wise?
So we are asking this year for $490,000. It's about 20% of our budget. And the reason that that's really important
Is that up or down from what you've had in the past?
It's down from the last couple
Okay.
years. And the reason getting that money is really critical is because a majority of the funding that we receive from the federal and the state requires a match. Many of it is a 25% match. So we need the county money to bring in that $2 million.
So this is like, for this institution, if you need a SUNY match, you got to have 50%. If you're a school district, if you want to do an 85, a project for building, you got to have 85. To get the state 85%, you got to come up with the 15.
Exactly.
So why are you're the first department head who's been here in 6 months who said your request is lower. Why are you lower? Everybody comes in with more requests.
Oh, well, good question. So our advocates for the older folks have done a lot of great work, and we've been heard in Albany. And in 2025, the new budget had a historic increase for aging services in New York State. And so we've been able to benefit by having some of that money come into our county, which was able to offset some of the expense that the county was picking up.
And you report, I know you go to the legislative meetings and you give reports. Do you report to the legislature? Do you have a board of directors? Do you have a board of advisors? What's the structure of your office?
So we do have an advisory board that meets monthly. Of course, I report to the Health and Human Services Committee and to the legislature directly.
And how many people are on your advisory board?
You know, I think it's around a dozen.
And they represent throughout the county.
They do. That's our goal.
Are they mainly seniors?
Yes. Or folks that work with seniors.
Okay. And what are their responsibilities? What do they do for you and for the county and for the people you serve?
Yeah, so advise us, guide us. We bring all our information about what we're working on, what our successes are, what our needs are, concerns are, and then they give us some input as to what kind of ways we should approach some of these issues that we're seeing. And they're also really good about helping us connect with legislators and other seniors about whatever's going on at any given time.
So one of the ways that you're in the news occasionally is you have Senior Citizens of the Month. One of my good friends, Terry Fitzmaurice, is one of your award winners this year. For those who don't know, what is the Senior Citizen of the Year for the county, and what's the process you go through to name people?
Okay, so every year in the spring, we include in our newsletter and on our website a nomination form, and we encourage anyone to nominate someone they know who's 60 and over, who's made a significant contribution in the community. And so we accept all those nominations to a certain date, and then we review the nominations and make a selection for that year.
And do you base it on any particular category, or do you say, you know, we have to have somebody from the north, we have to have somebody from the south, we have to have somebody from the center of the county?
Yeah, so we do look for that
You look at
variety,
geography?
but some years we'll get all Auburn nominees, and some years we'll get all rural nominees.
And so this is a staff recommendation, and then the county legislature then approves them, or is it your office and your advisory board?
It's in our house, in-house with the advisory
Okay.
members.
So you mentioned you send out senior news and views, so
Yes.
this comes out in different versions
Yes.
every month.
Yes.
Who gets this?
So we currently have a mailing list of about 4,000 people that get it by snail mail, and another about 500 that get it by email. And anybody can get that. It's again for 60 and over ideally, but caregivers get it, other community members get it.
So getting into trends, one of the things we wanted to talk to you about is, who do you consider a senior, first of all? What is your definition?
By our definition, it's anyone 60 and over.
Okay, what's your personal definition?
Oh,
You get some really active 70
that's
and 80
it.
years.
Maybe 80s.
So do we know, because I want to come back to this for a second, do you know how many 60 and above we have in Cayuga County?
We have about 23,500.
So not everybody who's a senior gets this. They have to individually sign up for this.
Yeah, we'd like people who want to receive it to get it, rather than just
For
mass
obviously
mail it.
cost
Yeah.
and so how do they get this?
Oh, so we do try to put it in the library and on our website, and wherever we can get it out there, and there's always a spot in there if you're interested in signing up. Give us a call or email us, and we'll get you on the mailing list.
So you said the number was about what, 20,000? You thought?
23,000,
23.
almost 500. Mhm.
So is that would, if I'm doing my math correctly to the census, you're at about 20, a little over 23, 24%, maybe 25%
Yes.
of the county population
Yes.
is 60 and above.
Yes.
Do you see that trend continuing? Because I think in the
Yes.
past we've seen that number lower, actual number, and
Right.
so as a percentage of overall because the population
Correct.
is higher.
Correct.
Do you see that trend where we're going to get
Yes.
much more on that?
Yeah, it was interesting as I was looking through the history for our 50th anniversary. I found information that said in 1980 there were 14,000 individuals 60 and over in the county.
But
Now-
there are also 95,000 people in the
so,
county.
Yep, exactly. But now we have less people in the county. We have more of those folks are seniors. Within the next 20 years, a third of the population here is going to be 60 and over.
Are we, you obviously have 62 or 61 other competing, or not competing, but fellow officers for the aging. Take out Monroe County, take out Syracuse, the large ones. Rural counties like our size, do you have an idea of whether or not we're in that 25%? Is that, are these other counties seeing the same trends?
They are. It's almost universal across New York State.
And do we have a higher concentration of seniors any particular place in the county? We're a long and narrow county, which we'll get to in a second. I was wondering because the city, because a lot of the services,
housing.
Senior housing and also grocery stores.
Yeah, I think the concentration is a little higher in the city. I was thinking that you were going to ask, and I just want to add that New York is fourth in the country for the number of people 60 and older. So we're leading the nation
Really?
in aging.
Who are the other three? I'm assuming
I don't know.
Florida. Okay, I'm just, well, but that also is a percentage of. Florida could also have a much younger, larger population that, with a lot of people are hanging out in Miami.
Sure,
So I want to get into transportation, but transportation I'm assuming is, and setting aside GoGo transportation for a second, I'm assuming one of the biggest challenges for your constituency
Yeah.
is transportation.
It is 100%. And again, historically, when the Office for the Aging started, the Senior Council actually was very active and evaluated what the needs were. And the very first thing, the biggest issue was transportation. And that was led towards the creation of the SCAT van. And we just did a survey. It's still the number one need in the county for 60 and over.
So the reason I
transportation.
was suggesting that the City of Auburn, because we have Centro, and then that makes it easier. I also, only because I have friends on the Boyle Center board, I know they've expanded their parking, so to me that says people are also in some cases are driving longer
Yeah.
or avoiding the DMV, and whether they're passing the eye exam or not.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you seeing people driving longer, which leads to its own issues that are most likely not an Office for the Aging issue, but does that help with some of the transportation issue?
I don't think so. You know, we get calls for transportation all the time, and even if people have the ability to drive and have a car sitting in the driveway, it doesn't mean they're comfortable. It doesn't mean they're comfortable driving where there's a lot of traffic. So.
And so one of the programs that you talked to me about beforehand was this issue of GoGo transportation. What is GoGo transportation?
So about a year ago, New York State Office for the Aging offered counties the option of enrolling our local residents into this program, and we have a certain amount of credits that we can authorize transportation for those who sign up. There's no criteria for it other than in our county, because it's limited amount of credits, we prioritized it for out-of-county transportation. We have a lot of people who need to get to medical appointments in Syracuse and Liverpool and Ithaca, Rochester.
So this is different than taking either a bus. Do we still have SCAT van?
We do still have the SCAT van, but they only are able to go to Syracuse, and it's limited.
Okay.
You know, they're
and do
so
they do
dependent.
local transportation as well?
Yes. So,
Okay.
so as long as they're able to do the transportation, we encourage people to utilize them first.
So
But
GoGo is different, and some people will also know this as GoGo grandparent. You're using GoGo transportation. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to sign up, how do they go about
Yeah,
signing
so they have
up?
to be 60 and over. They call our main number, our 253-1226 number. Caleb typically would answer and get the little bit of information, assign the credits, talk about the sort of criteria of the program, and people would be all set to go.
So priority is given to somebody who's going to go, whether it's the Krause or St. Joe's or
Yeah,
wherever,
yeah,
to
yeah.
medical appointments like that. They can take a companion, a spouse or whatever. It's not just they're going alone,
No,
because sometimes
no.
they need somebody to go
Right.
with them.
It really is. It's Uber, Lyft, taxi. Those are the ones providing the service. GoGo has a contract with them.
Oh, so they're riding.
So it's a ride share.
Okay. And do they ride alone, or can there be multiple? When
Yeah.
I say that is, hey, we're going to Syracuse, and I got a minivan, and I'm on, I drive for one of the systems.
Sure.
Can I pack them all in, or is it, if somebody signs up for GoGo transportation, they know it's just they and their fellow passenger going to and from?
I think it's, a per ride destination. So if
Okay.
there's 2 or 3 people that need the same ride at the same time, they could take the same Uber.
Do you have an idea of how many rides you gave out in the last year?
Over 350, and that was our startup year, so we're expecting that to continue
Because
to
people
increase.
know about this
Yeah,
now.
Yeah, and we are running a little bit of a special right now where we're encouraging people to give it a try, even if it's not for a medical need. So,
Okay, so when you say give it a try, can they do something else other than a medical need?
yeah, they could. They
So
could
give
use
us an
it to,
example.
They could use it to get to the library. They could use it to get to the hairdresser. Anything they want, really. We're going to do for the next 3 months.
Okay, and is that to say, okay, this is why the system works, or doesn't? Is it to do you see this as a long-term system to be funded by the state?
We'll have to see. The biggest challenge is those rural areas and whether there's Uber drivers available in the rural areas.
So if you don't have an Uber driver in Sterling,
Right.
you're not part of GoGo transportation.
That's true.
So again, more so the city, the donut towns,
Right.
maybe getting up in Decato, Port Barn, Union Springs, and maybe Moravia.
Yeah, and we had somebody successfully use it from Locke to get to Ithaca because Ithaca does have a fair number of Uber drivers. Then so it just depends.
And we also sometimes we don't pay attention that many people in the southern part of the county go to health appointments in Ithaca.
Sure.
That the Auburn Community Hospital is not on their radar because of distance.
Correct.
More than
correct.
anything else.
Right.
We talked about having you come in at the end of during the summer, and one of the reasons we wanted to have you on was about the Senior Resource Fair.
Right.
And of course, we started 4 days after you had your fair.
Yeah.
So you had a fair at Finger Lakes Mall last week.
Yes. So it was Wednesday.
Wednesday, so a week ago.
Yeah.
What went on?
It was a wonderful event. This is our 7th one. Over 500 people attended. We had 65 vendors. We had free the flu shots. We had Aurora did hearing evals. Dan Testa
This is
and
Aurora
Rick
of Central
Gabato.
New York.
Yep, Aurora
Okay.
Central New York. Did legal consults. We were able to do cognition screenings, just a whole variety of different options for people to take advantage of. Lots of local providers of aging services. We were very fortunate to have Greg Olson, the New York State Office for the Aging Director, come in, and he is just such a innovative leader in aging services. So it was a real privilege to have him with us.
So is this an all-day event where people go to individual booths, or are there programs where everybody's gathering together for one speaker?
So a little bit of both. We give
Okay.
people the option of 3 different speaker situations, as well as time to be able to get to all the different tables.
And does a vendor come to you and they have to pay for their table, or are they coming because we just need you there?
Yeah, so we actually have so many people who want to come that we have to prioritize, and we look for the local not-for-profits and local providers of services.
Any idea how many seniors attended?
Over 500.
And is that, do you do this annually or multiple times a year?
Oh, annually.
Once
It's a lot of work.
Well, no, I know it's a lot of work. We got a craft fair coming up here in about 2 months, I can tell you. So something like that,
Yes.
it's just, and that's with not doing programming.
Yeah.
So of the 500, did people take GoGo transportation, the SCAT van? How did they get there?
Oh, yeah.
And what were they able to? Did they have meals there, or did they just go booth to booth?
Booth to booth to collect the information, and that's what we get the really positive feedback that they loved having all that information available right there that they can pick and choose from. They can talk to the people who work in those programs. There's certainly freebies to pick up. There's some snacks, but it's just gathering information and getting to talk with people one-on-one, not having to go through a computer, not having to go through the phone, but that one-on-one with USDA or with the SCAT van or with the veterans or all of those entities, so important to the seniors.
You mentioned in an off kind of way the hearing test. How, because that is not something that is covered by Medicare.
Yeah.
How big an issue is for your constituency, the lack of coverage for hearing aids?
Hearing aids, vision, and dental. are not really covered by Medicare, and it is a big
Are you
problem.
surprised that we're now at the 60th year almost for that law? Are you surprised that we still don't cover those 3 areas?
Yes, definitely. Dental care is so critical. Vision is so important for safety. Hearing is known, lack of hearing is known to contribute to dementia. Absolutely. It's very important that those things should be covered. And it's a hard time to get add-ons to Medicare. Medicare Advantage programs, the new privatized Medicare, does sometimes offer some insurance coverage for some of those things. So that has been an improvement.
28 minutes goes very fast.
Yes.
Love to have you come back on and talk
Yep.
about other things, especially in front of a fair, a resource
Yes.
fair
Okay,
next time.
sure.
If somebody wants to contact your office, again, the number's 253-1226.
Right.
253-1226, and
Right.
that then gets them into the whole panoply of services there. They can also go online to the county website.
Yep. We have an email that they can get ccofa@cayugacounty.us. Will get to us as well.
Well, we want to thank Brenda Wiemann from the Director of the Cayuga County Office for the Aging for reaching out to us to talk about her agency and the services they provide. And we hope you'll come back in with some updates as we go along.
I'd love that. Thank you.
We'll be right back with in another Inside Government with Assembly Minority Leader Will Barkley, who will give us an Albany update and a lot of news that's occurred in the last 5 days that he's going to be questioned about. On Tuesday, we'll be back with Auburn Large School District Superintendent Misty Salvik, who will be in to talk about the district, and one of the new executive directors locally, YMCA Executive Director Scott Cinsabo, will be here. We had one the other day with the United Way, and we have 4 more to bring to you over the next couple of weeks. Next Thursday, we'll have Cayuga County Sheriff Brian Skenkin to talk about his department and things that are going on there, including the federal cuts that we just mentioned a few minutes ago. And then we'll end with Cayuga County Health Department's Dr. Casey Archer, who will be in to talk about local efforts at vaccinations, especially dealing with COVID and flu, because we see those numbers going up already. On Thursday, October 16th, we hope to bring you both candidates for the 10th Legislative District. We've heard from one of the candidates. We're waiting to hear from both, but that will be followed the following week with all 4 candidates for the Auburn City Council will be here in the studio being asked questions by Robert Harding. If you would like to let us know who you'd like to have us invite as guests, or you have questions for guests other than the candidates, you can send them to me at cozguytho@aol.com. I'm Guy Cosentino for Cayuga Community College. We want to thank you for watching. I want you to be safe, but stick around. We'll be right back with the Assembly Minority Leader.